Okay, here we go, kids. It is 5 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. We do have a quorum and we have probably established agenda. At this time, we are going to adjourn to closed session for 2C pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074 personnel to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, including superintendent or board member, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee, as well as 2D pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.076, security devices or security audits to deliberate the deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel or device or a security audit. So at this time at 5 o'clock, we are now adjourned to closed session. All right, I'm calling this meeting back into order, an open session at 6:05 PM. And at this time, we will, if you can stand, if you're able to do the invocation. Dr. Joyner, if you'll lead us, please.
Will you pray with me? Father God, we are appreciative for the opportunity to be in this place tonight to do the work of this school district. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve our community and do things that we believe are in your will for the students and families of our district. We're grateful for the teachers and administrators and Education Foundation folks and community members and visitors and students who are present with us tonight. We pray that you would be with them, keep them safe as they travel back to their home. We pray that each thing that we do and each thing that we say would be in your will for our school district. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. If you would stand, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. We've got some special guests from Carson Elementary. We've got Aubrey Moody, who's a fifth grader. We've got Jolene Moody, who's a third grader, and Emery Moody, who's a first grader. So we've got three lovely ladies up here to help us do the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll start whenever you start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I failed to mention that their parents are Elena and Cade Moody, so sorry about that oversight. We know it takes great parents to raise great kids. So are we going to go out there? Okay, so the board would go out here. We're going to take our pictures with you.
Good evening to the board. Again, it's always good to see you and everyone in the audience. I have one recognition, and then Debbie Boatwright's actually going to do the next set. But for me, I have Catherine Urasek. She is from Decatur High School. Catherine, will you join us at the front? Catherine, I just want to brag on her a little bit, and I actually had to pull up my notes because there's a lot in here. So first off, she made first chair alto for the TMEA's All-State Choir, which, if you're not familiar, it's a super big deal. Every year, about 70,000 students start that process in some form or the other. There are only 6 chair spots for any given category. And so the fact that she made the first chair, like, I'm literally getting goosebumps. It's a really, really big deal. So we're immensely proud of her, and she just done an amazing job. She's also the first student in Decatur history to earn that top spot, obviously. And then also, she is the first student to earn a spot on the All-State Choir 3 years in a row. So very, very proud of her. And we've got her dad, Chris Urasek. He's going to join us for a photo. I know. Oh, shoot. Y'all, she snuck in. She was not here. I don't know if y'all saw that double take. She was not here a minute ago. But yes, we do want them in the photo.
Okay, I have the pleasure tonight of recognizing a project that was done at our high school. If you've ever driven back behind our ag building, the goat barn back there had one complete side that was empty, that was open to the wind, the weather, everything. The goats were in there, we had heaters, we had some things, but when it became really cold, snowy, anything like that, it put those goats at risk. And so I have a student who is a senior ag student, Sarah Losa. And Sarah, she's a senior FFA ag student. Her passion project for this year was focused on supporting her FFA goat exhibitor friends and strengthening the Decatur High School goat program for years to come. She came up with the idea, she saw a need within the program, and she took the initiative to create a plan that would provide better outdoor barn facilities for the current and future students in their goat projects. So she planned for 2 of the panel walls to be filled in. So we still have 2 open because we needed some breezeway for in the summer and that kind of thing. Oh, pardon me, but she created this plan. Here is your certificate, Sarah. And so there's some other people that we're going to recognize with this. So Sarah created this plan. Maribel Loza is her mother. We're going to recognize her because she worked with the campus and district administration to help her coordinate this project and do everything she needed to on this end. So you get a certificate as well. You did a lot. Mm-hmm. And then in November, Sarah started this. She met with Cade Isham from NRS. Okay, come on down. She met with Cade Isham to present her vision. He is not happy to be up here, but we are going to recognize him. Here you go. In response to her vision, Cade generously funded the entire barn project fully. And so with his donations, her goal was to complete the project before the harsh winter temperatures arrived, and that was accomplished. So he was able to fund the project. He has a brother-in-law who works for Lowry Metals, and so, is Brian's not here? Okay. So we do want to recognize that Lowry Metals donated all the physical materials, and Cade funded the labor. So the project was fully funded. So. Now, I'm going to keep them up here because we have, the Loza family also sent some other names of people that helped accomplish this goal. So we're going to read through those, and I'm going to ask that y'all come up as well. Josh Morellis at Twisted J Welding. He completed the installation of the project, 2 wall panels with rolling doors, in only 2 weeks to ensure the goats had more protection before the winter weather moved in. So we really appreciate that. Julieta Loza is Sarah's sister. She's an 8th grader at McCarroll Middle School, and she designed a custom banner for the project. Bring your banner. So it can be posted. Y'all have to hold the banner out. And then iOffice, which is owned by Marianne and Joe Neal Henderson, donated the custom banner for the project. So we appreciate their donation as well. The person that kind of helped them get this started was Bailey Bryson of Bryson's Goats, and that Bailey assisted in connecting Sarah with Cade and set up that meeting to get it all started. So we really appreciate that. Thank you. And then last but not least, they wanted me to be sure and recognize Kyle Mazak, that they were so thankful for your time and support with this project, and they could never have completed it without you. So thank you very much.
Well, that was a pretty good feel-good moment. That's when the community and the school district come together, and it's like everything else. We just work together, guys. There's no telling what all we can accomplish. So very proud of everyone that was involved with that project. Okay, Next was public forum, of which we do not have any at this time. We're going to make one quick change to assist our auditor so he can get out of here. So we're going to move. Do I see him? Oh, you moved on me. Okay. So go ahead and come up. So we're moving what would have been, I believe that's 11A. We are now moving that up to now. And so this is having to do with our annual audit that's being done. And so I will turn that over to you. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for having me. Thanks for accommodating me. I'm not as much. There you go. Thank you all for having me. Thanks for accommodating me. I'm not as much fun as that, but it's good news, and we'll try and be quick and get you all moving along here. I'm Duncan Ely. I'm an audit manager at Snow Garrett Williams. Thank you all for having me tonight. And as we go through this, if you have any questions, go ahead and just stop me. Don't wait till the end or anything. I'm happy to stop and talk about anything. We'll start on the numbered page 1. So this is our certificate of the board. It's where you'll approve or disapprove of the audit with your board action. It will need to be signed by the board secretary and the board president. Once I get a copy of this, and Gary's holding the copy that he'll sign, that y'all will sign, and he'll send back to me, I'll get him that and a final copy of the audit report for his submission to TEA, which is due by February 27th this year. We've got about an extra 30 days this year because of some federal stuff and some internal TEA stuff that slowed that down. We'll jump on over to page 3. If y'all are going to listen to anything, this is the stuff. This is the independent auditor's report. I won't read all of it to you, but we'll just pick out some highlights here. In the first paragraph, we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the governmental activities of Decatur Independent School District as of and for the year ended August 31st, 2025. In the second paragraph, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly the respective financial position of Decatur Independent School District. So that's our audit opinion. That's a clean or unmodified opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that we can give on your financial statements. So in the third paragraph there, our basis for the opinion, we conducted our audit in accordance with accounting standards generally accepted in the United States of America and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in the government auditing standards. And then we'll make a jump over to page 16. So this is your balance sheet of the governmental funds at year end. Along the left, you have asset category followed by your liabilities, followed by deferred inflows of resources. That's just a timing difference on when property taxes are collected and when they're remitted to the district, followed by fund balances. Along the right, you have your general fund. That's the main operations of the district. Then your debt service fund, then your other governmental funds. That's an aggregating column mostly of your grant revenues, but your capital projects, some other stuff falls into that. But that's an aggregate of quite a few different operations going on there. And then your rightmost column is a totaling column of those first 3. We'll just focus on the general fund. Total assets of the district at August 31st were $13,340,000. Total liabilities were $4,546,000. Again, deferred inflows related to property taxes, just that timing difference, is $607,000. We'll go through each of the individual items of fund balance here. You had 2 small non-spendable fund balances. Those are for things that have actually already been spent. That's why they're broken out here. They happen during fiscal year 25, but the district will make use of those in fiscal year 26. One is for inventories of $28,696. The other is some just very small prepaid expenses, $1,722. You've got a commitment for some self-insurance fund for $100,000, and then your unassigned fund balance is the big number there, the $8,055,931,000. We'll jump over to page 18 and look at how we got to that total fund balance there. So this is actually a 2-page report. It's a pretty similar layout. You have the same columns going across the right, except for you do have the additional school lunch and breakfast program on this one, and that's just because last year that was presented on this schedule as its own column based on a mathematical calculation. This year it wasn't big enough to be presented on its own, and it's back in the total governmental, but that's why you see it on one and not the other. Then on the left, this time you have revenues followed by expenditures, and then way down at the bottom, a calculation of your change in fund balance, and then your beginning and ending fund balance. So total revenues of the general fund were $39,069,000. Total expenditures were $40,560,000 for a net decrease in fund balance of $1.9 million and an ending fund balance of $8,186,000. And just a note, there are two kind of special items this year outside of normal operations. One was just a payment to a self-insurance fund that y'all had been in to settle up based on kind of undercharged in prior years. That happened right at the beginning of this fiscal year, and then a transfer out to the food service fund to cover excess cost in the cafeteria. So we'll take a big jump to page 51 here. 51. So page 51 is our general fund budgetary comparison schedule. It's got the same column on the left, revenues and expenditures, and total change at the bottom. This time you have 4 columns going across the top. The first column is the original adopted budget, then the final adopted budget. The third column is your actual results, the numbers that we just talked about. And the fourth is a variance column from your actual to your final budgeted numbers. So your total revenues came in $886,000 over budget. That was almost totally related to settle up on state funding and the timing at which that happens. It doesn't come out until October 15th. We adopt our final budget August 31st. We see that a lot. So that's that variance. And then your total expenditures came in under your budget by $1.2 million. That's of course the way we want to see that too. So both of your budget variances are going the way we want to see them. We'll cover our last page, number 72 here. It should be the very last bound page there if you want for easier flipping. I won't read everything to you on this page, but these are your school first indicators that we directly have to report on as the auditors. So I'll read 4 of the total here. The first one, was there an unmodified opinion in the annual financial report? Yes, there was. Was there any disclosures in the annual financial report or sources of information concerning non-payment of any debt agreement at fiscal year end? No, there were not. Going to jump to SF5. Did the annual financial report disclose any instances of material weakness in internal controls over financial reporting and compliance? No, it did not. And then SF6. Was there any disclosure in the annual financial report of material noncompliance for grants, contracts, and laws related to local, state, or federal funds? No, there were not. I didn't read them all, but those 4 and all the others are going the right way. So on all the ones that we're required to report on, you've earned all the points you can for first for this year. That's everything I'm going to go through. Do y'all have any questions for me? I'd like to say thank you to Gary and his team. We ask a lot of questions. We're in his email inbox a lot, asking a lot of questions, but we appreciate all the work that they do. I know that he's been dealing with some position changes and everything. Everything still did go smoothly on our end, so we really appreciate that too. And thank you all for your time tonight.
Okay. All right. If no questions, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging around. At this time, this is an action item, so we do need to take action on this. If there's any discussion, I'm opening it for that, or questions amongst ourselves. If not, then I would entertain a motion on 11A.
Mr. President, I recommend the board approve the 24-25 annual financial report.
I have a motion from Chief Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second, I'll give that to Ms. Schneider. So ladies first. So a second from Ms. Schneider. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, now we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming back on 8A, which is the superintendent report on our student achievements and district events. So, Ms. Williams,
Yep.
the mic is yours.
I have a few things. Under Pillar 1, High Performing Students, February is CTE month. It's a meaningful time to recognize our teachers, our counselors, our administrators, and all of our industry partners, Decatur and in Wise County, who pour into our students each day. Ms. Boatwright and Mr. Nauman. Nauman's in the back of the room. Debbie's over here somewhere. She spoke earlier. They've really worked this year to expand practicum experiences and build community partnerships within our district. And so we're just super thankful for them and the other stakeholders that make these opportunities possible for our students. We also have MAP mid-year assessment window closes tomorrow. It's been really encouraging for us to get to see the students and teachers both tracking their goals, looking at their growth together and having those conversations. So we're excited to share that data hopefully at the next board meeting from Teaching and Learning. I want to celebrate more DHS choir students. Y'all just got to see one along with our middle school and high school director, but we had several that earned the first division gold medals at the UIL solo and ensemble competition and advanced to the state level. And so we're proud of their hard work and look forward to getting to recognize them individually at a future board meeting. Moving to highly engaged staff, we've officially opened registration for Eagle EdCon. That started as a one-day event. We've expanded it to a two-day conference and opened it up to surrounding districts. And so shout out to our teaching and learning department. That takes a lot of work to get those invites out. We have a lot of surrounding districts that have already responded and are really thankful and excited for the opportunity. I'm proud to get to see our staff teach others about the great things we're doing and learn and lead alongside people in the county. So we have teacher externship opportunities that, another shout out to Ms. Boatwright and Matt Runnels with the Decatur EDC. They've had placements where our teachers actually get to go work in fields and then bring that real life experience back to the classroom. So we've had Wise County Messenger placements, Decatur Tire placements, and we're looking at more opportunities for our staff to get that experience as well. National School Counseling Week was last week. I just want to express our appreciation to all of our counselors. This is their busiest season. They're offering guidance, academic, college and career, letters of recommendation, all of the things. And so we're super thankful for the role they play in the success of our students. Our HR department, Mr. Lackey and Ms. Whitener, along with Ms. Kaufman, they've trained over 80 subs this school year. I think that may be the most we've ever had. Several of those are also certified teachers, which makes a really big difference in the absence of our educators. And so we're thankful for the people who have stepped up to serve in that way. Pillar 3, strong community partnerships. We had our first annual First Responders Day last week. Perfect example of the community coming together, which I think we've already seen tonight on display as well. But another shout out to Matt Runnels with the Decatur EDC. He took that idea and ran with it with help from Ms. Boatwright. And we had students from Decatur ISD as well as 4 other school districts in the county. They visited Decatur PD, thanks Chief Campbell, Decatur Fire, the Wise County EMS, Wise County Sheriff's Office, and Medical City. And so any student interested in the public service route had that opportunity to get to spend a whole day with those people and learn about what that actually looks like day to day. And then we're also proud of our culinary students who got to be, we got to brag on them a little bit at lunch. Chef Goodmay and his students prepared lunch for all of those students across the county as well as all of the other community partners that were there. And it was the best chicken Alfredo I think most of us have ever had. So shout out to our culinary kiddos as well. And then the last one, Pillar 4, strategic resource management. Kyle's already gotten a shout out tonight, but I'm going to give him another one. They showed up every single day during the ice storm. When it was super dangerous to get out on the roads, they checked facilities. They watched them from the programs that we have. They actually caught that Carson Elementary went down without power. If that was not caught in the manner that it was, a lot of damage could have been done with frozen pipes and all the things. So we're thankful for their dedication, protecting our facilities and preventing major damage. So thanks for all you and your team did. That's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Number 9, the consent agenda. This is the minutes from the January 12th, 2026 regular meeting, the budget amendment, which we do not have any, and purchases over $25,000, which we do not have any, and then also the interlocal agreement of the purchase and the language regarding that agreement, where basically we're keeping it where it is at $25,000. Is there any question on the consent agenda?
I don't have mine pulled up. Were we not speaking of child nutrition and upping child nutrition? Did I misread that?
Are you talking about the Region 10?
Yes.
Yes. It's the interlocal agreement for the purchasing cooperative where several school districts can join together to get lower rates on food and cafeteria costs.
That's not, yeah, the agreement on 9D, yeah.
9D.
Yeah. Yep. All right. If there are other questions or discussion, I would entertain a motion on that.
I recommend the board approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Duncan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes 7-0. All right, number 10, 10A, transfers of the 2026-2027 school year. Is this, Ms. Williams, if you'll start us off with that discussion?
Yeah, this is strictly discussion, but it's been brought up a few times as far as the 9 through 12. This is primarily, we already allow transfers for pre-K to 6, or pre-K to 5, I'm sorry. 6 to 8 or actually 6 through 12, I believe, has been closed. My recommendation would for sure be to keep 6 through 8 closed, considering the capacity at McCarroll Middle School. I do think that if y'all want to discuss the option of 9 through 12 transfers for the 26-27 school year, I think the district and our staff could support whatever decision y'all went with. The kind of premise behind it is obviously the budget is one of those things, is turning students away and then not being at capacity at the high school. And so, just the reasoning behind not allowing transfers 9 through 12.
Do we have any knowledge of how many we're turning away in those grade levels?
I don't think that was tracked for last summer when we would have had requests. I think also, I don't know that data would have been accurate because we promoted that they were closed. So we didn't actually, I don't know that people, if they would have seen it was closed, I don't know that they would have applied anyway or submitted interest.
Will there be any negative aspect to allowing that to happen?
That's a loaded question, Jeremy.
I mean, and obviously, this is going to require a lot of discussion.
Yeah,
this is
why it's a
but
discussion item, but
It's a good question.
I do think, we've talked about class sizes, we've also talked about looking at the high school master scheduling and those things that would all play into that, but obviously that is one of the kind of check boxes on the transfer policy. So if class size became a concern in certain grade levels or based on their course requests, then that is a reason that you do not have to accept them.
I mean, obviously, we don't want to turn down any revenue. We need every dollar we can get. At the same time, we don't want to, I think this is obvious. Everybody's thinking the same thing. You don't turn down any money. At the same time, you don't want to put an undue burden on our existing staff. So I think there's definitely going to be, one of the questions I would have is I can't remember how long has the high school been closed? And I know that's probably not, you may or may not know that answer
Wasn't
to transfers.
here
It's-
when that decision was made.
I think it's about, I would guess 3 years, but I couldn't swear to that.
We could go back and maybe try to find.
But we can try to find, and that would only just be as a point of reference to find out, because if it has been closed for a very long time, you're right, we're probably not gotten many requests.
Mm-hmm.
If it's only been a year or two, then there might be some data on
I've
that.
probably had 6 emails from people who are interested in transferring in and just asking if it's going to be a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Or if they just need to commit to staying in the district they're in. And so that's been just in the last couple of months.
How do we handle siblings? Is it, we take all, or we take one and sorry about your luck on the other 2?
So like 6 through 8, that would be closed if it's a 6 through 8 sibling.
But transfers that are already here are grandfathered in? Is-
Right.
but Ones that are the
Yes,
younger
as long
ones.
as they meet the transfer policy still. And Dr. Weber and I have had a lot of conversations about, following through on some of those transfer policy pieces and having conversations at the campus level if pieces of that are violated or if their attendance, discipline, grades. Obviously we want to make sure if we're accepting kids that it's a positive contribution to the district. And so just monitoring those a little closer. And then also having a specific window. I think it's just kind of been open to whenever. And so we talked about if we did open it up, this school year maybe opening after spring break and having like a solid close date so that when we go to schedule and do all those things, we know what we're working with at that point.
I mean, I would assume the board would need to go off of your recommend, you guys are closer to this. We would need Miss Allen and the staff at the high school to see, is this something that, and what is the number? I mean, that's the other thing, is that, we don't want to just open it up. I think there should be definitely a number, like we can open it up to the first 30 or first, whatever that number is, that we feel like that we can adequately, and put into the group, but that's already there. That's the only thing. I just don't want to open this up, because I think Decatur is a very, people are very interested in Decatur. There's a lot of good things going on here. So you don't want to just open it up completely open, and so that we could get flooded with people, and so we need to definitely put some
And
boundaries
capacity
around
is
that.
always a reason for
Yeah.
denial, if we don't have space. So that's on the policy already. And so if there's anything, since this is discussion, if there's anything that y'all want us to bring back to you next month, or any information that you need to make a decision
And we would probably need to have vote on it by next month, don't you think?
in order to.
In order to implement it,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
So could we bring potential numbers plus what we're already doing with the homeschoolers that may be doing athletics? I know we're talking about academics on one side and athletics on the other, but can we see what that looks like as far as the money we're bringing in?
Okay, so, but a transfer would be a fully enrolled student, so we would generate full funding.
Correct.
Okay, so what,
So we can see how many people we're actually bringing in and the stress that we may be putting on our system.
through homeschool?
Both.
Okay, so you want homeschool numbers currently of who's
Correct.
participating? Okay. And then I guess I don't get the other part of your question, because we won't know how many kids are gonna transfer in until we open it up.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So how do you, where do you shut the number off at?
I think
Yes,
it's
Stan-
first come, first served. We accept based on policy. It's pretty black and white. When we run out of room, we run out of room, and they're denied,
Do we set that number ahead of time, or do we just kind of see what comes in?
based on capacity, yes.
And so
Yeah,
they
because
do
we
just
don't want
say-
to be in a situation that we're in at McCarroll where we don't have room.
But we set it based on capacity minus, and allow for.
I would
if
say
we have
based
the
on current staff
move-ins.
capacity.
Yeah.
Yes. The staff we currently have, so that, because, yeah, if you're one or two kids over in a classroom, that's not going to justify an additional teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So based on current staff, which should have that information through the staffing study, we can base it on that, and then just agree that we're not going to add staff based on accepting transfers, that'll be the cutoff point at that point, based on the current staff we have.
So to help you, would you like the board to just be able to communicate with you what they want to see, or what information
Just
that we
any
need?
information y'all need to make
Yeah.
a decision.
So I would ask the board then, just as sooner, I'm not going to put a date on it, but just whatever questions you have, try to get those to Ms. Williams
And
as
we
soon
can
as
bring it
possible,
back.
so that she has time to, before next meeting, please, don't wait till the week before the meeting, just actually get that to her, so that you can be getting that to us, and then we'll obviously going to have to need to vote on this
And we
by
can
next
bring
week.
the current transfer policy, Dr. Weber, to the next meeting, so y'all can just see where that stands right now, and then like current numbers, if y'all want to see where we sit with transfers at each grade, would that be helpful?
That would be helpful, yes.
When we look at transfers, when we're considering, do we look at their current history of attendance? We do,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah, we
grades?
request all of those
Okay.
records.
Okay. Anything else you need from, other than just that? Okay,
No?
and be prepared next
Yeah,
month.
and then whatever else, if y'all think of anything else that you need us to bring to the next meeting.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on that item? If not, we'll move to 10B, the hazardous transportation route of West Business 380. And Mr. Mazak will tell us about that dangerous situation that we've got going on there.
All right, good evening, Ms. Williams, President Schultz, Board of Trustees. I'll just take a minute here to talk about the hazardous transportation route on West Business 380. And I have a map on here that we can share with you. So what happened is we were made aware, and we did an assessment at Rand Elementary, that there were some kiddos walking to Rand Elementary. We identified some safety concerns along their path of travel. Now, we fixed some of those, and we have a plan for some of those, but students are crossing West Business 380 primarily at the intersection of South Deer Park, which runs in front of Rand Elementary, to West Business 380. And we looked at that, and it presents a pretty serious risk for kids in the dark to leapfrog across that intersection. So this is what we're proposing is West Business 380. All of the houses north of that are the ones that are being affected. They have to cross that road, that new intersection where they put the light and cut all those trees down. And it's not very safe. So we had meetings at Rand Elementary with Annalisa and the admin there in the city of Decatur and administration here, and we all agreed that it's not a good idea. And so the city of Decatur actually got a hold of Texas DOT and said, hey, what about a crosswalk here? And they told us what we already knew. It's just really not going to happen because there's nothing there already for the infrastructure. And so what we're proposing is that we designate 380 as a hazardous route under Texas Education Code. And the financial impact is very minimal. We already have routes going that way. We could pick up these kiddos. Transportation estimated about 20 kids that we would have to put on current routes to take them to Rand or the middle school. About 20 families there with kiddos. And that's what we're recommending. Are there any questions?
There is room on the current buses that are going by there. We're not adding a bus.
We're not adding a bus or routes. Yes, sir. We would have to file this, if approved, with the state for legal reasons, but yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's an item that'll come up on the
Yeah,
next month to
that's-
vote
that'll
on?
also
Okay,
be-
so we'll
so-
be voting on that next month. Obviously, safety is paramount, so
And Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, the issue is because those houses are within 2 miles, which would typically not be a bus where we would pick up students.
Our current policy is that within 2 miles, we don't pick up kiddos unless they cross a legally designated hazardous route, 287 railroads, things like that. So we would just add this to our current hazardous route plan, and it would be about 20 kids that we would have to be
So,
responsible to
y'all's
pick up.
decision would just be to deem that a hazardous route so that then we could be reimbursed for the route.
Yes.
For running the route within 2
Yeah.
miles.
We
of
would be
the
required to pick
campus.
up all the kids in that triangle zone.
Yep.
And what are we doing, what are they doing right now, like to get to school? Are they still walking?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, they're crossing.
Some
that.
of them are walking.
No, it's not a good situation.
Yeah.
We need to take care of this. Yes.
Can we not vote sooner than,
It's, the only way
that
to
seems
do,
extremely dangerous to me.
agreed.
That's concerning.
But, it's not on the
That's a
agenda, so we
safety-
can't
that's a
do that
safety
tonight. But if we feel like, and I will leave it to the administration, if you feel like we need to have a special meeting to get that approved sooner than later, that's up to the board.
Can we, until the vote happens, can the district not just ask for forgiveness and go ahead and make it happen?
We got any attorneys in here? I see one out there. It's a good point. I don't know, because I hate delaying a month too, but I don't want to,
We definitely wouldn't be reimbursed for that
yeah.
route,
mean, none of-
obviously, because it wouldn't be board approved yet.
What's the
None
cost?
of us
But-
would be able to sit with the.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
sit with
already
this
a-
if something happens.
It's not adding, outside of maybe a little bit of gas money, it's not adding, because we're not adding a route or a driver.
Do it. I'll go on the mic, do it. We need to.
That's the wording,
this
do it?
We can start by reaching out to the families that are currently walkers and maybe start making arrangements. Just let them know that we've
I
had
think-
the conversation and,
I think this is of utmost importance.
Agreed.
yep, we will have conversations.
Yeah, that's okay. And then we'll officially vote on it next month. But in the meantime, we'll see what we can do to expedite this and take care of these kids before that. Agreed. Okay. All right, 11B, this is to consider and take possible action regarding the 2026-2027 academic school calendar. As you know, there was an option A and an option B. There was a survey sent out, and Dr. Weber is going to discuss with us what the administration's recommendation is on this.
Good evening, President Schultz, School Board, Ms. Williams. Like you mentioned, Mr. Schultz, there was a survey that was sent out, and on the screen you'll see a summary of the survey results. In the top right corner, you'll see we had close to 1,200 responses, and the vast majority of those filling out the survey were identified themselves as parents or guardians. And there, just to note, there is a separate tab if you were a staff member and a parent or guardian. And of the two options that we proposed, option A and option B, the voters chose overwhelmingly option B at 69.3%. The small box in the bottom right corner shows the differences between A and B. So A would be starting on Wednesday, August the 5th, as opposed to B starting the next day, Thursday, August the 6th. And the biggest difference was the number of Monday holidays. So with option A, we were actually planning to come to school on President's Day and Columbus Day, so October and February. But instead, we're just going to, if we go with option B, which is the one that most voted for, they would rather just continue with those Monday holidays. And the big part of that was for consistency's sake, because then it shifts our week over, and then we have those Fridays that we're not accustomed to coming to school. The difference in terms of instructional days and minutes is just one between the two options, with option B having 153 days, 76,500 minutes. And so the recommendation of the administration is option B. Any questions? Thank you.
Any questions, any discussion on that? I know we've been talking about this for a while, so everybody should be pretty familiar with the options, and you see the response from the public and what their preference is. So if not, I would entertain a motion to go with the administration's recommendation.
I recommend the board accept calendar B for the 2026-2027 academic school calendar.
I have a recommendation or a motion from Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from, I think it was Mr. Bayless, I believe, but I think I heard one down here too. I don't hear as good out of this here, guys, so you're going to have to okay, yell louder. I know you can do that. Okay, so all those in favor of option B, say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes 7-0 to go with option B for the 2026-2027 academic school calendar. 11C is to consider and take possible approval of an order calling a bond election to be held on May 2nd of this year, 2026. We had a special meeting a week ago. A recommendation was made to the board at that time, and tonight is a matter of discussing it amongst ourselves that bond proposal, and to ask any further questions. I know we had an opportunity a week ago, so if there is any questions or discussion, it's open for that.
Upon approval by the people, what does it look like, and Ms. Williams, I think this is going to be to you, because I don't think it's us, a bond oversight committee? What does that look like?
It looks like engaging the group that's been along the way, allowing them the opportunity to serve. Most of them have been on long-range planning. They shifted over to bond planning, and then opening that up for them to serve, and anyone else, honestly. I would run that just like I did the bond planning in regard to it's open for anyone to come and listen. There will obviously be a set committee, but anyone that wants to be a part of it can sign up. And then, you know, the initial part, it's usually pretty slow, honestly. It's through design and provide updates through there. But then once construction picks up, you meet with that group more regularly, provide the budget updates, you know, opportunities for them to see the facilities firsthand, go on tours. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Sorry, Stan,
Go
I
ahead.
had a question.
Jump in.
On the CTE part of one of the propositions was expansion, and then the Flushy building. Was any of that money for CTE? Was it for like redoing the culinary at the high school, like upgrading all their equipment?
So not all of their equipment, and Brett, if you want to chime into any of this, you can, but we talked about like the law enforcement room, like adding a kind of a padded corner so they can actually practice some of the like combat type moves and arrest and those things. Our goal was to essentially touch every CTE classroom with some type of upgrade that's already in the facility. Now, the CTE kitchens get extremely expensive. That's where like a full-blown kitchen, but we did, Miss Boatwright and Dusty went to Medical City, and they have like a donation that some of that could potentially be worked in some of their kitchen equipment. And so we're kind of looking at all those opportunities, but yes, to get them out of like a home ec type kitchen and more into a commercial style kitchen is the goal. And then the ag piece, the expansion onto the ag was the other part that would happen at the current high school.
And then the other part of that was the Felucia building. I know I had to ask some questions about that. So is that, you said it was potentially during and after hours? Is that just for like upperclassmen? Or how, if it's not, how will underclassmen who can't drive get there?
So it would be practicum, which would typically be your juniors and seniors, yes, but we can also provide transportation through CTE.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? If not, who wants to be the lucky person to make the motion?
Mr. President, was that loud enough?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Mr. President, I move the board adopt an order calling a bond election to be held on May 2nd, 2026, with Proposition A in the amount of $132.7 million and Proposition B in the amount of $4.3 million.
I have a motion from Chief Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Dr. Joyner. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes 7-0. And I'd just like to say, I know there are members of the committee. Thank you again for all your hard work that you did on this. It was a long process, but it is definitely needed, and we hope that we'll see what happens with our voters. So, okay. We'll move on to 11D, which is to consider and take possible action regarding Senate Bill 11 on daily prayer time. This is a new law, relatively new, was passed in the summer. And each district has to vote on this to accept or decline this by March 1st. So we are required to actually take a vote on this tonight, one way or the other. So I will open that up. Well, Ms. Williams, anything you want to add on that particular item, or?
Open to discussion from you guys. We did include a resolution that essentially just supported the fact that we already allow prayer and meditation in schools. We don't have a specific period. Just for context, I know at the high school, they have things like the Good News Club, and they meet sometimes during Eagle time, sometimes during lunch, sometimes before or after school. And so those situations and opportunities are already available for students, and that's one of their rights that they have. So
I know I've looked into this. I'm sure everyone else probably has too. I've found in the state of Texas right now, there may be more. Not saying my research was exhaustive, but I've only found one school that is actually approving this and abiding by this. I think it personally, and I'm just speaking for myself, not for the entire board, I believe this puts an undue burden on our teachers and administration. There's waivers that are involved in this. I think right now all students have freedom to pray. I personally prayed before every test, just that I would pass it. And so I think you can pray before school, after school, during school, before a test, after a test, whatever it takes. So I don't believe this is something that we ought to do. But that's my personal opinion, obviously open to anyone else's opinions or discussion. Any discussion? Okay. If not, then I will entertain a motion on that. Anyone?
Mr. President, I recommend the board not adopt a policy to provide a period of prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious texts as made optional by Education Code 25.0823.
Have a motion from Ms. Alvarez. Do I have a second? Then I'm going to second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. All right, this is for information on item number 12, 12A, the Texas Academic Performance Report, better known as TAPER, for 2024-2025, the public hearing. Dr. Weber, you have the floor.
Thank you. Hello again. It's 32 slides. I promise not to take 32 minutes. But it is quite a comprehensive report of our academic performance for 24-25. Purpose of this report is to share the educational performance of our district, and there are links to the PDF version of this, and we are required to have this in public hearing within 90 days of receiving the TAPER report, which we received on December the 18th, 2025. What is TAPER? It includes student performance, STAR, graduation, and CCMR, as well as demographics of students, demographics of staff, program data, finances, and other indicators. And the purpose is to promote transparency and public accountability, and to inform all of our stakeholders about our performance. This is just a roundabout way of on our website how to find it, but also you could just Google TAPER, and it'll take you right there. Some of the components of so it's reporting on 23-24 is STAR performance, school progress, bilingual education, participation rate, the number of students who took a test, attendance rates, dropout rates, graduation rates, CCMR, CCMR readiness, student information, staff, programs, and budget. So the next three graphs you'll see is students, how they performed on the approaches level, on the meets level, and on the master's level, and how we compare in all subjects, and then broken out by ELAR, math, science, social studies, and then how we compare to the state, the region, and the district. In all grades, all subjects, DISD students outperform the state and the region in all grades, all subjects, as well as in all grades, ELAR. We were able to outperform the state and Region 11, the state and region, my apologies, state and Region 11 outperformed the district in all grades math, and then the DISD students performed similar to Region 11 students in all grades science, and similar to the state in all grades social studies, and that's just for approaches, which is the first level of passing. Meeting the standard, which is the next level, so this is everyone who met the standard or higher. Our students outperformed the state and the region in all grades ELAR, and outperformed the state in all grades science. The state and Region 11 outperformed DISD in all grades, all subjects, all grades math, and all grades social studies by a few points. And then at the highest level, which is master's, which is the far end of the achievement spectrum that we are continuously pushing our students to reach, our students outperformed the state in all grades social studies. We improved in master's levels for all 5 categories when you compare to 2024, and we improved anywhere between 1% and 4% in master's levels. This is just a lovely dashboard provided to us by TEA, which shows you the percentages of students who are either approaching meets or masters, so 76%, 48%, and 18%, and then it breaks it down by each of their race and ethnic categories. And as you can see, the top right corner, the line graph, you can see that we're trending in the right direction upward. Attendance, graduation, and dropout rates. Our attendance rate overall remained unchanged at about 95%, and we outperformed the state and the region in both of those areas. Chronic absenteeism has decreased by 1%, which is always good. And chronic absenteeism is anyone who was absent for 10% or more of days. Annual dropout rate, so they calculate one for middle school and then one for high school from grade 7 and 8. Our annual dropout rate improved, which means we decreased from 1.2% to 0.2%. At the high school, our dropout rate went from 0.5% to 1.3%, but that still remains below the state and the region. In terms of the class of 2024 that graduated, 94.7% of our students graduated and 4.2% dropped out, and both numbers fare better than the state and the region. And then the table on the on the bottom right shows each of the graduates and then breaks them down by ethnicity and by graduation type and by special programs. Longitudinal graduation, so we look at students, sometimes a student might need an extra year to graduate, and so we look at 4-year longitudinal rates, 5-year longitudinal rates, and 6-year longitudinal rates. And each of those increases, so obviously the longer they stay with us, the more we get to graduate. Ideally, we want kids to graduate in their cohort so that they would graduate in the 4 years, and that rate for the class of 2024 was at 94.7%. CCMR College Career and Military Readiness includes CCMR graduates, and it looks at indicators like TSIA testing scores. Did they complete a coherent sequence of CTE classes? Did they receive credit for a college prep course, AP, or we don't offer IB, but AP scores, SAT, ACT results, dual credit completion, enrolling in a Texas institution of higher education, and being able to attend a 4-year university without being in a remedial course. They also track that as well. So comparing year to year, we did a great job in college, career, or military annual graduates from 23 to 24, increasing by almost 10%. College ready alone, we increased from 46.7% to 58.8%, and then we had a slight decrease in career or military. So if you parse out the college ready versus the career or military ready, we dropped 0.8 percentage points. The component score, which is the bottom graph on the right, shows that overall, though, our numbers for CCMR are trending in the right direction from 70% to 76% to 82%. And even in talking with Ms. Boatwright the other day, we're excited to see what our numbers will be like next year. District information. This is comparing our enrollment numbers by program compared to the state. Bilingual CTE at the high school, gifted and talented, and special education. For CTE, we have more students enrolled at the high school comparatively speaking to the state, as well as at the just overall middle school and high school combined. We only have 14.5% of our students enrolled in bilingual ESL compared to the state's 24.3%. Special education, we have 17.3% enrolled compared to the state's 15.3%. And then student demographics, a little over 45% of our students are considered economically disadvantaged, whereas the state students who are economically disadvantaged represent about 60.5% of students. Emerging bilingual, we have a number lower than the state at 15.1. Students with disciplinary placements, we are about half of the state at 1%, and 43.1% of our students are at risk compared with the state's 53.5. This is student ethnic distribution. Our district is the bigger pie on the left, the state's on the right. White students represent 57.1% of our district compared to 24.4% at the state level. And our next largest ethnic group is Hispanic at 37.8% compared to 53.4% at the state. Teachers by year of experience. So obviously the bigger pie chart is our district and the smaller one is the state. One thing that I noticed is we retain experienced teachers in Decatur ISD, and it's a wonderful gift for all of us, especially for our students. Whereas beginning teachers represent roughly 7.3% of teachers in the state, we currently have about 3.8% of beginning teachers in our district, with the majority of our teachers having between 11 and 20 years of experience. Class sizes. The left column, or the column in the middle, is our district numbers on class size averages by grade and subject compared to the state. Those 3 stars are just our smallest class sizes, so grade 2, grade 4, and grade 5. With at the secondary level, English language arts having the smallest class size and foreign languages having the largest at 24.6. Texas statute requires every district to publish an annual report on violent and criminal incidents at campuses in the district. So at the time of this report, there were 217 students who accounted for 402 disciplinary actions. All discipline, 217, DAP, 27, in-school suspensions, 189, out-of-school suspensions, 63. On the bottom, where it talks about DAP placements, where it says students, it says minus 999. Because we're such a small district, sometimes disclosing that number would violate FERPA and allow people to determine who that may or may not be. Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board requires every district to include with its TAPER report a report on student performance in post-secondary institutions during the first year enrolled after graduation. So our goal is to make sure every student leaves with a diploma in their hands. But we also monitor how do they perform once they leave us and then they enroll in an institution of post-secondary learning. So this compares four-year public universities and two-year public colleges. They don't necessarily track private schools or independent colleges, where their GPA fell in their first year, enrolling in a four-year public university or a two-year public college. And at a four-year public university, the vast majority of our students perform with a GPA of 3.5 or higher. For 24-25, our accreditation status, they consider academic accountability, financial accountability, data integrity, and any program area deficiencies. And for 23-24, we were accredited. And then in terms of financial standards reports, we received an A for superior achievement in the financial integrity rating system of Texas. And then there'll be links to all of these reports. And there are two singular one-pagers that are these infographics that our own Tara Bennett was able to put together for us to just kind of encapsulate the report in its entirety. So, do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weber. All right, next is 12B, the first quarter, or sorry, financial information in the first quarter investment report. So I assume that's all you. Mr. Mazinski.
Of the text pool, which we report monthly, and it's just a summary, unless someone has questions.
Okay.
I would talk very briefly about the financial information, and I would say, yeah, this is on good. The audit it's one of those markers where it goes down in history, it's over, and you start to move forward. This is a very, very complex audit for us because usually board members retire, but the staff stays the same. This is the case where the board's been the same for a few years, but you look back and you get the superintendent's change, the CFO change, you have two cafeteria people changing. So every time that the auditors needed data, the only person to add to was me. So there was one, like a Friday night or something, they said, well, this doesn't match up. And I'm like, fortunately, I was able to call or email. I don't know what I did. I called Shelley Lacer. I said, "Look, I need every printout of every National School Lunch monthly deposit you did because I can't answer this question." And that's when you really find out who you're working with. Those are the kind of people that stop their activity. And they don't have to. They could say it's the weekend. Catch you on Monday. Maybe Tuesday. And but no, within a half hour, I had all 12 of those where she sent those to me, and I spent my weekend reconstructing that schedule to get everything. It was all balanced to the penny. It was just hard for the auditors to see. They asked because there weren't other people here, pretty much me. And then when I would ask people stuff, lots of answers would get back as, well, I wasn't there last year, and that's very true. But somehow we pieced it all together, and I'm very happy. It was a arduous chore, but I was very, very happy with what we got, and it's probably one of the proudest pieces of work that put together. I think this board, as we move, needs to be very proud of what they've done. And I'm going to say this one last time, and then we're going to move forward. You've got the tax rate, one of the lowest tax rates has been in history. You refinanced twice. You did a defeasance where you brought bonds back from the, that were to be paid further down, and you brought them up and you paid them off early, and then you did a refunding where you kept the bonds and it's got lower interest rates. Those two saved the taxpayers $2.7 million, if I remember. So this board has done a lot of good things in the last year. My little personal contribution, me and Masick, if we can trust him, we know that he gave me the schematics from and I'm joking, he gave me the schematics for the electricity layout, and I knew it at the high school, and I knew that the egg, when we did that, we put them all on 1 meter. The problem with that, you don't know exactly the utilities that's going on in the egg, but we did a square footage analysis and applied it, and so we booked about $50,000 of career and technology money that otherwise we would have spent to that, and so that was a savings. So a lot of times people, what are schools doing that savings? It's not very transparent what we do for savings, but all in the big picture, we pulled it together. Last thing I'm going to say is, and it was, you did have an unqualified audit, no significant issues, no material issues. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, the financial report, and that is I don't usually take pictures of people's slides, but at the last meeting I was at with Taylor, and she had a slide up there. I'm like, that's supposed to be for me. And I think maybe she shared it with you, but it was a slide independently that I would have designed. And that has to do as we go into the new year. We all know that we have challenges, and staffing is one of them. I'm sure she shared it with you, but I think we all need to know every position that comes up, she's saving, and the HR director is holding to make sure we need it, okay? She and I and the HR guy, we came on, kind of late in the year last year, and so now we're ahead of the fact. So she's looking at every one of those. She's also looking at doing a review of how do our schedules the most efficient? How do we compare? Because it's extremely hard to know, as school districts, we all have the same formulas. Capel doesn't get a different set of formulas than we do. We're all on the same formula basis. But the one thing that she can do is she can look at what other districts that have the same formulas, how are they staffing what they're doing, and that is going to be a phenomenal study, because it's hard to ask your staff, say, we need to. It's hard to come to the board and say, well, we need to add one janitor or something like that, and without some sort of basis, or the vice versa. So we have, we have custodian too much, because bottom line is it's, kids bring you revenue, personnel spend your money. You guys are working, on the revenue side by looking at bringing kids in the district and stuff, and it's time that the administration look on the opposite side of looking at where our HR stuff is. So that'll be with the 2026-27 budget. I was very, happy to see that slide, because now I think we're all on the same page of the commitment that's going to take to get us come full circle. Okay, so that's the end of the audit. You see what the new fund balance, where we are and stuff. And that's behind us, and our new future goal will be to kind of pull together where we go for the next year. We should, within the next 6 to 8 weeks, TEA should have our specific tax rates in their models, and so we should be able to have a lot better accuracy of where we stand with our finances. Right now, they don't even know the tax rate we adopted, because it doesn't go to them. It has to go through the appraisal district, and then that gets sent in. So they'll load all those in the formulas, and we'll start to get a much better look at what our revenue is, and I tend to be conservative, so I just hope it comes out a little better than we've anticipated. And so that's the direction we're moving for the financial report tonight. Does anyone have any questions at all? Okay, go ahead.
Am I good, Gary?
Yeah.
So we come in at about 8 million, a little over that, for moving into the 25-26 school year. And we have surpassed what we adopted on the budget, ballooned to 2.25 million. On this trajectory, how long do we have? Do we even have 3 months worth of operating right now?
We don't have 3 months, but to me, that's not necessarily the, it's not the, we're not flush with cash. And actually, I have to go ahead and do, I'm going to have to do some of those adjustments because some of those adjustments, one of those adjustments, they put back in the audit, which increased the fund, which decreased the fund balance from the prior year. They took one of my entries and pushed it back, and then I still have my entry in our budget. So if you give me a month to clean that up, so we can look at it. But no, we don't have 3, but I think we have enough to operate, and it's very hard. I think we're moving in the right direction. It's very hard just to come in and be able to just wipe away in 1 year kind of a trend that's been going on in 3. You don't want to make excuses, but I think we are working in the right directions. And so let me do those, let me pull those things out now that we've approved the audit. And we'll have a little, it's not going to make a lot of difference, but it's still going to make quite, some difference. So, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mazinski. If I haven't said it before, we appreciate you coming out of retirement to help us in this transitional time. So thank you so much for all your hard work. With that, we are now moving to item number 13 at, what is our time here? 7:18. We are adjourned.